Hey guys, I'm sitting here in Florida. It's the evening time. It's just me. Isla is already in bed. We had a really fun and exciting day, um, enjoying the sun, and she did a lot of swimming and all this stuff. So she's tired, and I am just waiting for Trevor to get back from a job that he's doing. But he still won't be home or not home, but here for a couple of hours. And so I just thought that I would take this time to finally make a video, because a lot of people ask me, like me and Trevor's story, or like how we met, and I always give them the Cliff Note version because honestly, like, no one has time for all of that, nor do some people care to that extent. And even if you do, and you do have the time, like, then maybe I don't. So these are, I guess, for the few people that care. And I feel like if I'm going to go out on a limb here and make this video, then I should just give like the complete story, like in depth. So in 2024, I made the decision to move back home to Oklahoma from Alaska with Isla. And when I did that, I had ended a long relationship, and I was beside myself. I was numb. I was cold. I didn't know who I was anymore. I looked in the mirror and I had just lost pieces of myself over the years. I had diluted myself over the years. And so my main goal when I moved back was to have my village help support me with Isla so that I could take some time to figure that out again. I was the heaviest I'd ever been in my whole life. That included being like pregnant. Even when I was, pregnant, I still wasn't as big as I was when I came back to Oklahoma. So I was down on myself about that. I was down on myself because I, felt like I tore apart our family. It's just, single mom life, I didn't know what that was. Having to navigate that new way of living, and while also trying to balance, giving Isla the life that she deserves, and one that she could potentially even maybe look up to. God forbid she ever goes through, those same circumstances, but if she did, I wanted her to have a strong mom and a strong role model to look up to. That's my hope, at least, that she looks back on it one day and thinks that. Anyways, this is why this is a video, because it's going to be long and I'm a yapper. So 2024, like the beginning of it, I moved back to Oklahoma. God blessed me immensely, because I was fortunate enough to move back and already have a job, in place for me. And that is one huge hurdle that a lot of people, have to figure out once they, have already done the move. I luckily had already had that in place. So I moved there and I already had a job. I immediately started working out every evening. Again, with my village helping watch Isla, I would put Isla to bed for the night, and then I would literally go to the gym every night. I mean, not even like a rest day. like maybe the occasional, like every other weekend, and that was just because I was like doing something with Isla maybe or whatever, but I stuck to that. And I was just like, I'm focusing on myself. No more dating apps. No, you know, like I'm not in my early 20s anymore like I was the last time I was in the dating world, right? So, and I also wasn't a mom back then. So I set new boundaries for myself essentially, and I also had this goal of, you know, getting back into church because I was always raised in church and all the things, but as an adult I definitely fell back. That wasn't a priority at all in you know, that relationship that I had. And I feel like that's a very easy thing to do, especially not only as a young adult but like a young parent, and honestly as somebody who has already lost themselves. It's hard to get into the swing of that. So that's what I did. I worked, I went to the gym, I was a mother, and I went to church. That was my world. Obviously spending time with family too, because that's where almost all of my family lives for the most part. And it was this bubble, and I was happy to be in it. And I was still healing. Like I had no want to invest in another person when I was working on myself. And I never really in the past even given myself that time to do that, like to work on myself. I would always kind of just continue to bleed into the next relationship until I bled on others, or vice versa. Like it was just this never-ending toxic circle that I've had with multiple people, not just Isla's dad. And aside from all of that stuff, also a lot of like self-reflecting needed to be done, because I was not perfect by any means. No one's perfect, but you know, I realized that like maybe, like at first I was like, maybe this is teaching me something, because I need to do this self-reflecting and take this time for myself and talk to God and figure out like what his plan is for me and where he's guiding me and all this stuff. So that's what started this whole venture. Rolling into the latter part of 2024, like literally the butt end of it, I finally like allowed myself to start like holding the door open for people to like talk to me. I still didn't go on dates physically with anybody. I just had the occasional like conversation, like on the phone, not even like physically, like anything. It was just like so subtle that it was almost even boring to me. Like, I know that sounds terrible and a little selfish, but that's how it got. It was just like, this is a lot of work, and I'm a single mom and I don't have time to go on dates. I really don't. Like, my world is Isla and working. Like, that was my life then, and honestly that had been my life for a while, even before that. So I just found it almost a chore. So basically that latter part of 2024 comes around. I'm bored with like intimacy or relationships, romantically at least, and all of that. So I am hyper focused on just a few elements in my life. But one Wednesday morning, I am 10 minutes into this video and we are just now getting to this, so I'm so sorry. So if you're still here, thanks. But one Wednesday morning, I was at work and I was literally in the break room getting a cup of coffee before the workday started. And my phone went off. And it was a notification that this guy had like commented. Like he had like commented on my eyes. He said my eyes were so beautiful, and I was like these ones? Like really? But okay, like let me just check this person out. So I did. I did not go in depth. I literally was just like looking at this person. Like, is this a creepy, you know, like is this a creep or like an old dude? Like what is it? What do we have here? Because I didn't recognize his name. So I did, and the first thing that I noticed about this man is that he has this smile that is like out of this world. Like it is one that just captivated me. And I'm like a sucker for smiles and stuff, right? So like that is like immediately like what I noticed about this man. Not to mention he like is attractive in general, but that smile, I was like, this smile is everything. Who is this person? I don't do any other investigating. Again, I was at work, so I just quite literally just didn't really have time. So I just shot him back another quick reply, and I was like, oh, like, you know, thank you. I think you have like an amazing smile. And then I think he just, after that, it just kind of, it just took off. Like he was, you know, just asking about my day and all this stuff, right? All the basic, you know, things to start a conversation. And as the day went on, and I had like moments to myself, I started investigating his profile and stuff, and I was like, oh, he has a kid too. I have a kid. He has a kid. Okay, so he's a dad. Like, of how many? Because like that's something I want to know. And I could only see the one or whatever. So I was like, okay, that's cool, because like we're both single parents. And then I would say like it was like the latter part of the day is when, and I don't remember exactly what it was that like caught my attention, but I was like, this man lives in Georgia. And for those who don't know, I lived in Oklahoma. I was born and raised there. And this man is in Georgia. So I'm like, okay, like I've already started talking to this guy. He's really nice so far. He's so cute, but like, you know, he's in Georgia. So I pointed that out. I was like, does this man realize this? Like, I'm not down the street. I'm not even the state over. And that's right. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I heard a sound. And he was like, yeah, like I noticed that. In fact, I want to do a coffee date, like via FaceTime, if that's okay with you. And at first I was like, well, yeah, like I have no problem doing that, but I literally don't I literally don't have time for that. That sounds terrible now that I'm like saying it out loud. But I was like, I literally like go to work, and then I'm a mom, and then I put her to bed, and then I go to the gym. And then by the time I get home from the gym, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I gotta go to bed so I can get up the next morning, get my daughter ready for school, and go to work and put it on repeat. Like, that was my life, literally for like a year. So, I was like, okay, just like not tonight though, like I have to plan this. Which sounds so crazy because it's literally just a coffee date on FaceTime, but I literally had to plan this. And so this poor man probably thought I was catfishing him because I just like gave him that excuse twice. It was an excuse, it was like real, but like I gave him that excuse twice. And I was like, all right, it's been like a couple of days. I've gotta like FaceTime this dude or he's gonna like shut down and like not talk to me anymore, and that would make me kind of sad right now. So finally I put Isla to bed and I put the gym off for one night, and I was like, okay, let's do this. So we did. The moment this man got on the camera, I was like, oh no. Like, this is about to be either a problem or it's about to be amazing. I'm happy to say that it has been amazing, but we'll get to that. And we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked. And I was thinking, this man is gonna think I'm a yapper. He is never gonna want to speak to me again. I mean, we talked into the night. And we got off the phone. And then, honestly, the rest is history when it comes to that, because we never stopped talking after that. And then, fast forward, about 2 months later, we were like, you know, we really, I really want to, like, meet you in person. Like, this is cool and all, but, like, I really, like, want to meet you in person. And, like, have, like, an actual date. So, we decided to meet at a halfway point for us, which a halfway point for both of us, if you guys don't know, was actually Memphis, Tennessee, which was like kind of like out of all places in the United States, that's our halfway point. But you know, anyways, so we did it. We met up and we had our very first date at the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, like the restaurant at the very tip top of it. And I'll get to that, but so like Trevor, he started his drive earlier than me, so he actually got there just a little slightly before me, because I actually worked that morning. Like I went into work and immediately left and headed that direction, so I was still in scrubs. So I'm still in scrubs. I'm thinking, okay, like I don't look that great for like a first impression type thing, but like it's okay because I'm gonna get to the hotel and I'm gonna change real quick and then we're gonna go to dinner. It's gonna be fine. So I call him, I'm pulling up. He's like gonna meet me out there in the parking lot of the hotel, and I go to pull in. I go to pull my car in the parking spot. It is cold, by the way. It's January. It's freezing. And I see this man for the first time in person. And when I tell you guys, like, I was like so nervous because he was so handsome. He was so handsome. And he was so, like, he was dressed like nice and I wasn't, but I mean, he was so handsome. That light just came on, if you couldn't tell. And I'm like sitting there in my car, and I'm like, he's thinking I'm like putting my car in park, which he doesn't know this, so if he watches this, like, he's gonna probably laugh. But I was like, like low-key like panic mode, like hyperventilating, like, oh my god, the time is here, and he is so nice looking, and I am in scrubs. Anyways, so I park and I get out of the car, and this man has roses, and I'm like in scrubs. I keep circling back to that because I was just like, I am the luckiest woman on the planet right now. Like, God really outdid himself this time. But like, why did he have me wear scrubs? And so I get out and we hug each other, and it was like the best hug. Like, I'll never forget that. Because that was the first time that we'd ever physically like interacted in like months since we, you know, started talking. And we hug, and he gives me these roses, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. So I go up and I change out of my scrubs, I put my dinner outfit on, we go to dinner, and we had this promise. We were like, okay, we are not going to have our first kiss at the top of the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. And I was like, no way, Jose, like, not the first one, right? Like, I don't want to tell people that. I barely want to tell them that, like when people like ask me, I'm like, oh, we had our first date at this nice restaurant called like the Outlook or whatever, I think is what it's called. And unless you do Googling, like, you wouldn't know that like the Outlook is the top of the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. By the way, it's an amazing restaurant, so don't knock it till you try it. Like, it is so yummy. Anyways, so we go, we have our date. There is an extremely funny scenario that happens on this date, not involving me or him. It was involving like a complete stranger. And I'm not gonna like take more time because I'm already 22 minutes into this video. But like, maybe I'll get back on here sometime to tell you that story. It's not really long. But Trevor, it is like his favorite. Like, if you ask him his favorite memory of our first date, like, he's gonna want to tell you it's being with me in our dinner and all the things. But it's not. It's what happened on our date with this person. Anyways, I'll let him maybe tell you that too. So we eat our dinner. Trevor gives me this poem that he wrote for me. Like, he bought me like this poetry, like, well, it's not a poetry book, so it was a very beautiful, just empty notebook, and he wrote a poem in it for me. Because if you don't know me, that's like my thing. Like, I'm super into poetry. So like, that's another thing. I was like, roses and poetry, like, hello, am I like dreaming? So after reading that poem, it was written in the stars, guys. Like, we had to have our first kiss at the Bass Pro Shop, okay? So we did. And then we just had like an amazing weekend together in Memphis. It was cold, but we went to like a coffee shop. We went to Beale Street. We had like amazing gumbo at like one of these, you know, restaurants on Beale Street. It was just awesome. It was awesome. Like, I didn't want it to be over, but it was over in a couple of days. We literally just had like a weekend trip. And then we went our separate ways. We went back home. And keep in mind that we were not like boyfriend and girlfriend. We were still like talking or whatever. So then in February, so that was January. February comes, and Trevor has a business trip in Key West. And I actually go with him on that. So we go a little over a month between like seeing each other again, and then I meet up in Key West. Or actually, no, I met up in Florida. Excuse me. No, I met up in Georgia with him at the airport, because we actually ended up booking the same flight to Key West. Like, again, divine intervention, because that was not planned. Like, we booked separately, and one night I was literally like, oh, like, this is my flight number, I'm flying with Delta. And he was like, well, this is my flight number. And I was like, what time are you taking off? And we put 2 and 2 together that actually, oh my gosh, we're on the same flight, and like, we're going to take off from Atlanta to Key West, like, together. So we actually got to also have our first plane ride together, unexpectedly. And that was amazing. There was just so many things after that trip that, I mean, I was like, hello, this is the man. This is the man that I've been praying for. This is the man that I know would just be like a phenomenal stepdad to Isla. I mean, it couldn't be better. So he asked me to be his girlfriend, in Key West, by the way. It was a few days before Valentine's Day, so he led it with being his Valentine, and then, you know, would you like to be my girlfriend? Obviously, I said yes. I was like, huh. Like, I want to be your wife, dude. I'm just kidding. But like, anyways, it's just so crazy, because like, the rest is history, and again, I don't want to carry this on forever, but for those that don't know, we did do long distance relationship for about a year, a little over that actually. We saw each other every single month. I mean, it was so much time, so much money, so much effort, but like, I'm telling you right now, when you know, you know. And I regret nothing. There is not a dime spent that I regret. There is not any PTO I took that was wasted. I mean, we made the most of every trip that we had together, whether it was him in Oklahoma or me coming to Georgia or us going elsewhere for like a business trip. Like, we made it the best time. And then, you know, in October of 25, we actually had all of our family, for the most part, come together. They all met up in Georgia. And it was a phenomenal time. And our kids, like his son and my daughter, like they get along so well. They acted like brother and sister right off the bat. I mean, the chemistry, it was all there, right? It just all lined up so perfectly. I couldn't ask for it to be better. And then in January of this year, of 2026, we closed the distance, and I moved to Georgia with Isla, with my daughter. And when I tell you guys, this has been the most amazing experience that I've ever had. I feel like, and I'm gonna like get a little emotional, so like, and I'm not normally like that, but here I am. Sorry, this light keeps going off and on, so sorry if the quality goes downhill. But like, I feel like I'm finally reaping some of the rewards from learning what true obedience was, with becoming stronger in my faith, and taking that time that I never gave myself in the past to really like learn myself and wait for what was meant for me. Because like, patience truly is a virtue, and if something is meant for you, it will come to you, like when it is his timing, like it is his like plan. And if there's anything I've learned in this whole thing, it's to trust his plan and his timing. And oh my gosh, like looking back in the past, it's like such a breath of fresh air, because I really went through it. And again, not necessarily all because of people I was with, but like even with myself internally. And I just thank God every day that like this is my life now. Like I'm literally sitting here doing this video because I have the time, because I'm in a safe space. It is a Friday and I am not working anymore. I get, you know, sort of like that luxury, so to speak, of just helping Trevor with his business and taking care of our children, which was never an option for me in the past. Like I literally like have this beautiful pool behind me. It's not mine, but like Trevor has friends that live here that are like first of all, he also has like the kindest friends. Like his peers are all so nice and so great. But like Isla and I went to the beach yesterday. I didn't have to take PTO. We just got to go to the beach, and I have never got to like just slow down and live in the moment. And to have that as an option now, it's so great. It's so... I feel like a lot of my years in the past were spent in, so to speak, like a survival mode. So I don't remember like those tiny details. I don't remember a lot of those things that matter, like those moments that matter the most. I'm moving so that the light comes on. So I'm really trying to like take it in. And I feel like maybe this is what God, you know, wanted for me, was to just slow down in life and really like not take for granted what's around me. And when I tell you, like, Trevor is such a blessing, not just because of this life that I get to live. I want to come on. But like, he is so gentle with my heart. I cannot, like, I am still, you know, working on myself. But he doesn't meet my emotions with defensiveness. He meets my emotions with like curiosity. Like, why are you feeling this way? What can we do to fix it? How can I help you? Like, let's work this out. And it like won't even be like his problem at all, but like he makes it his problem for me. And I'm just so not used to that. Like I'm the oldest daughter. I have the oldest daughter mentality through and through. I am hyper independent. And so like to have these daily affirmations and to have a partner who's so there for me, like, it's honestly like it is an act of God. Like I can't explain it any other way. This is my person. This is the person that I've waited my whole life for. I mean, we're not even engaged, but like I just know. I know this is my person. Like nobody else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. I told my best friends, again, Trevor doesn't even know this, but I literally texted my best friends like after our first date, and I was like, guys, this is the one. This is the one. I know it. I've never said that about anybody. I was like, this is the person that like my grandma told me about when I was in middle school, that I refused to believe. I was like, no way is a man gonna sweep me off my feet. And thank God I was so wrong. Thank God that I was patient and that I prayed. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care who you are. If you're watching this and you find yourself trying to figure out why something is happening to you, it is not the end of your story. Try to ask yourself, what is God teaching me? What is he doing this for me? That's what Trevor told me last week. Is stop asking yourself, why is this happening to me? And ask, why is he doing this for me? What can I gain from this? And oh my gosh, that frame of thought alone has just changed my life. So yeah, that is 36 minutes worth of me explaining my relationship with Trevor, how we met, and so much other word jargon for you. If you've literally watched this far into it, by the way, I am so impressed. I feel like I'm pretty much yapping to myself, especially because this light keeps coming off and on, and you're probably like, Desiree, why haven't you just went in the house or went to better lighting? Listen, I did think about that, but obviously I didn't do it. So and if you know me very well, you'll know I'm a very one-track minded person. So if I would have done that, I would have forgot what I was talking about. Anyways, that's the story. To be continued. We're going in Italy together in May. It's in a couple of months. I am so stoked. So excited. But yeah, that's the story. Thanks for watching, if you have watched this far.